Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dreamers and Doers Women Living Their Dreams. And I'm Karoline Stevens from Journey to Empowerment. I'm a certified life mastery consultant, and this is what I do. I help women let go of their inner blocks, up level their mindset so they can create lives they truly love. And I'm so excited in this series to bring to you incredible women, entrepreneurs, difference makers to help inspire you to go out and create more of your dreams. And so today I'm so happy for you to meet a beautiful lady right here in Sedona who has done so much for this community and beyond through art. And so let's welcome Linda Goldenstein with Life Enhancement through Art. Welcome, Linda.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for the work that you do. It's so beautiful and supportive and appreciated.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here. This is so, it's such an honor. And so let me just briefly tell you a little bit about Linda. So Linda was crowned the art maven of Sedona by Arizona Republic art critic John Belloni in 2001, and then repeated by others in national publications, has consistently championed opportunities to create a life-enhancing experience through art. From artists' receptions to the creation of Tibetan Sand Mandalas, she has provided interactive ways to bring art, artists, and collectors together. I love this. And first of all, Linda, I'd like to congratulate you. 20 years. That's your anniversary this year, right?
This is it. It's our anniversary. Thank you so much. We're really excited about that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What a wonderful achievement. And yeah, and so would like to dive in and hear where it all started, Linda. Where did you know that art was going to be your thing?
Oh, well, I am from the Sedona area. And I was actually, my family lived in Peach Springs, Arizona on the Wallapai Reservation when I was born, but they moved down to Camp Verde when I was a child. So I was growing up in the Sedona Verde Valley area and worked as a banker in this area. When I was visiting, a really dear friend of mine, Ruth Scott, in New Mexico, who had a whitewater rafting company she was running, I ended up meeting someone that invited me to come there and help with his company. And he was doing very high-end architectural products and hand-carved furniture. Everything was custom and hand-carved and beautiful. So I decided to move my two teenagers at the time, Tanya and Cheston, to Santa Fe, to out of the Verde Valley, to get them beyond the mountain and myself too, and get into this a different kind of experience, a bigger community and such, and went to work for this wonderful furniture designer and manufacturer, which was just amazing because it opened my eyes to creativity and possibility that I hadn't experienced before, and to also a clientele that was building very high-end custom homes and having, these just amazing pieces created for them, like hand-carved garage doors and such. We did everything. So it was really fun because it was all new and it was all different, and it gave me an opportunity to grow quite a bit. I loved it. And that evolved into me having my own custom furniture and architectural product company called Santa Fe Craftsmen's Guild. And I had that based in Santa Fe, but we did a lot of work in Arizona. So I was back to Arizona all the time. And we did work for Taliesin architects, just all kinds of wonderful designers doing architecturally specified work. And it was very successful. Yet when my daughter decided to have my first granddaughter here in this area, in the Sedona area, I decided it was time to come home. I had a lot of family living in the area, and it might be time to come home. for a while. So I sold my Santa Fe Craftsman's Guild company and had a few months left still in Santa Fe. And a dear friend of mine who owned a wonderful plaza on the gallery, or excuse me, a wonderful gallery on the plaza in Santa Fe, invited me to work with her. She asked me to. She was having health issues and she asked if I could come in as a salesperson. So it was really fun. You know, I'm on the plaza in Santa Fe going into a gallery to work, and I didn't know what to expect, but it was quite interesting. They had wonderful artists, some of which I worked with throughout the rest of their lives, actually. And it was just a beautiful gallery. I started selling art there, working with clients, working with artists, and I was extremely touched by what happened, because people would come in and they would be so moved by a piece of art that they would put down sometimes serious amount of money, but they would really invest in enhancing their lives with this artwork. And I could see that happen. And it was very, very different from custom furniture or architectural things where they would say, oh, I love this beautiful hand-carved table. Can you make it 2 inches longer? And they didn't, appreciate it for what it was in the same way. And with art, they just appreciated it for exactly how it was. They didn't say, critique it and say, oh, I wish the artist would have done this or that. And they would take it and their lives would be enhanced. And it was very, very touching to me. I loved that. And I loved that feeling. And when I started meeting the artists, I fell in love with them too. So the whole thing began to come together. And I realized that this was something that I wanted to do. I decided at that point that what I would do is actually go to work in galleries in Scottsdale, Sedona, and Santa Fe on a seasonal basis, because then I had the freedom, as the seasons change, each one has a different season that's their busy season, that I could go and work and I could learn. It was my university of learning. So I would choose different galleries for what I could learn about them. So I worked in kaleidoscope galleries and Northwestern art galleries and Southwestern art galleries and glass galleries and all different kinds, even choosing a gallery for the business model so I could learn more about it. I just found it so interesting. And because of that, I've really worked with thousands of artists over the years because of all these different galleries that I have worked at. But finally, I decided to stay put at the Jordan Road Gallery in Sedona, as that Howard and Jennifer Hunter used to own. It was the old public library building in Sedona, so it had a special place in my heart. Barry Goldwater had broke ground on that building. And I decided to stay there and work. And one thing led to another. I was offered a situation in Santa Fe with the gallery on Canyon Road that we started from the ground up. So I found myself back in Santa Fe after a few years. And then 9/11 happened. Mm-hmm. And that was a big turning point for me, because I really looked at things and I said, okay, if it all falls apart tomorrow, where do you want to be? Mm. And I decided I wanted to be back in Sedona area, because I had 5 generations living here at that time. And it was a great community for art. And even though it's been a long time artist colony and been on the map as a place to collect art, at that time, I felt like it was really on the rise with its reputation. And I wanted to be a part of that. It was very interesting on the very day on 9/11, when I really thought about that in 2001 and started thinking of coming back to Sedona. One of my longtime dear artists, Ben Wright, called me and he said, why don't you just think of a way to work with us that is different, that you can that we can still work for you or work with you if you ever leave this area. So he sparked another idea with that. So I really thought about it, and I didn't want to have a full-blown gallery when I came back to this area. So I thought I would represent artists, and that was working really great because I knew all these different galleries. But, eventually it worked back into having a gallery again. And it's interesting though, because of the roots of my business. When I came to Arizona and started my business on 11/11/2001, that's my actual start date.
Wow.
Even though there was a lot of groundwork before that, I realized that my way of doing things in my business was always going to be a little bit different from the standard gallery, if you will. I have always considered my business a gallery outside the box in a way. And that's where we are even today, 20 years later, more than ever. And we've actually come full circle back to where we were at the very beginning, which is really nice too. So that's how we got started.
Wow, what an amazing story, Linda. And so what a bold step you took to leave your family and take your two kids as a single mom, right? At the time.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
that's correct. That takes courage.
Well, I was 17 when I conceived my son, and had a lot of pressure to get married, which I did, which lasted a few years, sadly, and that didn't work out. And so I had always been a single mom, really. And I think that in a way, I'm really grateful for that, because at a very young age, I realized that it was up to me to get out there and do this, that it wasn't just people weren't going to take care of me in that way. I needed to make it happen. I wanted something good for my children's future and for myself. So I needed to get busy and figure out how I was going to do that. And the banking background was great. I didn't grow up wanting to be a banker, but I'm very grateful for my dozen years doing that, because it gave me a really good business foundation and taught me a lot. It also taught me a lot about people. And I think a really valuable lesson, because I learned not to judge a book by its cover. And that's been, that saying of not looking at someone and qualifying them or that they could or couldn't collect art, for example. So that's always been our part of our business model, is that we absolutely love everyone and anyone that it would come into the doors of the gallery or inquires about the art. That's the qualification right there. They're interested. And that's enough for us. We're happy to talk to them about it. So that's always been great. We've met a lot of people.
Yeah, what an amazing journey. And one piece led you on to the next. And you, like you said, and this is so powerful, that you realized early on that it was up to you. You weren't looked after or taken care of. And so you stepped up to the plate and you decided to make those moves at those various times, which would have all taken quite a bit of courage. And so that's inspiring.
Well, it was interesting, because at first it was scary. And I think anytime you have big change, you can feel that way. It's that mix of excitement and scary, right? And but once you have a certain amount of clarity, you can do it. And I think that's it. Just by even saying, I can do this, clarity starts happening. Things start coming together. It starts working out, And I think if we're open to be in the flow with that, I mean, sometimes I think people start a business and they're very rigid about this is how it's going to be. If you can be open in starting that business, yes, this is how I would like it to be, but I'm open for even better than my imagination can give me, then it really does start happening and everything starts lining up. And it's fun when you're able to even be aware of it and look at it and say, wow, look at how that lined up. I could have never imagined that. And certainly with the arts, you know, I didn't grow up wanting to be in the arts. I didn't really have a plan, you know, other than motherhood, which quite frankly was a surprise to me when I first
Like many of us, like too many of us.
yeah. And no regrets. I'm very happy about the way everything worked out. Love my children very much. I'm very happy I had them at the age I did. But yeah, being open to that allowed me in the arts to, well, I just never could have guessed where the arts would take me, what roads I would go down, the places I would visit, and the people I would meet. It's absolutely been mind-blowing. And every day I'm excited about that, because what's going to happen today? Who am I going to meet today? You know, what opportunities are going to pop up? So, and that's an important thing, in particularly in the arts, because it is one of the few industries that you cannot plan ahead on. You know, if you are selling a different kind of product, let's say you're selling a food product or something, then you might have an idea of how many people will be buying. You might even get orders for them, things like that. We don't know in the arts what's going to happen, who's going to call, who's going to be attracted to a piece they see. It's so subjective. It's so personal. Most of what we work with is one of a kind. And so there's a one of a kind person that, you know, collects that piece. It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, and something you said about this, or something even better still, you know, this is like a dream builder kind of tool we use, that we create a vision for something we would love, but then we hold it with an open hand, and this allows then the universe, or whatever we call it, to come in and lead us rather than us, you know, being in control, you know, lead us onwards. And it sounds like this has been the journey for you, that it's just been very gracefully, by the sounds of it, leading you to the next and to the next. And like you're saying, you couldn't even have imagined all the amazingness that really has been taking place through the years.
And, you know, early on, I realized too that, well, when I started my business, Goldenstein Gallery is our LLC name is Goldenstein Art Associates. So that was the first name. And then we have our working name under that, because there wasn't a gallery at first, you know, but I chose that name, Art Associates, because it sounded like there were more people than one. Right?
That's right.
It sounded like a group. So that, you know, it just seemed like it was something bigger than what it was, but it was really a little tiny dinky office with me there for quite a while. But as time grew, and right from the get-go too, I knew that my business would be as good as the people I worked with, always. And so my business would be as good as the artist I worked with. And then as I started hiring employees, I knew that, you know, my business would be as good as the people that I hired to work with. And, you know, it wasn't just me singularly. I've never looked at my business as me singularly, ever. It's always been a collaboration with others.
Yeah, and I love what you've created. I mean, I love the connection that you share with your artists. And I love how the thing that you said, that what really moved you when somebody connected with a piece of art, and that it was really something deep and meaningful, you know, right? And And so,
Yes.
yeah, so you're creating connections between artists and collectors and in the community. This is so beautiful, Linda.
Well, and the art changes people's lives. And that was so powerful when I realized that, even working in the gallery in Santa Fe, and of course, much more so over time. And I just have so many touching stories of, people that may or may not have collected that just would write to me and say, this particular piece changed my life. I was in this very bad spot, and it, gave me hope.
Wow.
I had lost someone I loved, maybe a child even one time, and someone wrote me and said that they, at one of my satellite exhibits, that no one was there, and they sat there for hours with this piece and came to the full understanding that everything was okay with their child and for them and their life, and to move forward. I mean, I get emotional just talking about it, but that's really big things. And so, do we like sales? Of course, that's what makes it sustainable for everyone. And that helps to elevate everyone. We want to write big checks for our artists and such, but it's really about the connection and uplifting people in a positive way. That is really, we talk about that, my staff and I have, over the years. That's the juice. That's the way we really get paid, for what we do, is in this beautiful connection. And then on the other side, we have these artists who who are laying their souls on the line in their artwork. They're putting everything out there, and they're vulnerable. And, when we get to share these stories with them of the people that were drawn to their work and collected their work and such, and we get to support them financially with sales so that they can keep doing that, it's just really, really beautiful. So I just feel like we've always been in such a lucky position, a fortunate position, to work with both the patrons and the artists. We're the conduit that it runs through. And I just don't know if I'd ever want to be in a different place than that. It's really beautiful.
How can people see your art, that people that are not in Sedona?
Oh, well, people that aren't in Sedona, please visit our website, goldensteinart.com. Be sure and put the golden, ENSTEIN, art.com. And on our website, we have a huge amount of inventory that they can see. We work with over 60 artists, and each artist is well represented by all available work. And some of them have a lot of pieces on there. We work with some artists that are both painters and sculptors, for example, or painters, sculptors, jewelry designers, so they have a large body of work. And we have many, many videos that people can access, so they can actually meet the artist through the video work. And there's pictures of all the pieces, sometimes multiple pictures of pieces in different lights, different angles, and bios about all the artists and a picture of the artist. And some of the pieces have their own stories as well. So we have a huge amount of content on our website. People reach out to me sometimes and said, I spent days reading your website. So there's a lot on there. So it's easy to check things, or you can really dive in, do a deep dive about that. We also, you can sign up on our website or by reaching out to us, and we will add you to our newsletter that comes once or twice a month. We don't bombard people with newsletters, but we do send once or twice a month with updated pieces, what's happening. We do offer programming, quite a lot of programming at L'Auberge. Some of it is on pause right now, but as we're allowed to open back up, things will be offered in terms of painting classes. We do have a vibrant artist in residence program. where artists paint and sculpt on property. We have a great series that we will start up someday soon, I hope, again, which is called Lunch with an Artist. And we have also a program called Cocktails with the Curator, which would be with me. And so that's like a fun reception time. So again, some of those are on pause, but if you are getting our newsletter or you're checking our website, you can see schedules of things as they start to open up and happen.
Well, thank you for sharing. I'm going to put all this in the notes so everybody can find your website. And my guess is you'll be shipping out of state and globally as well.
All over the world. We have shipped all over the world, Arabia, even, I mean, all over the world. So we love to do that, and happy to do that. So yes, definitely.
Wonderful. And so you're also supporting charities, and you're doing a lot of, supporting the community on different levels. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you. I would. I encourage all of us to make that a part of our business model. For me, it really started when my gallery was just a new baby gallery. I was inundated on a weekly basis, even, of people asking me to donate art for charity functions. And, my artists own the art that I represent, so it's not mine to give away. And I also realized that it wasn't always the highest and best use for that piece or the best return for the particular charity. And knowing my clientele, I really felt that the best thing that I could do to help these charities was to give them a voice through my business to reach my clientele and my community that we had a voice to and connections to. So that's worked out really well and grown into so many different things. An example of that would be the Artie Bra exhibition. Artie Bra, yes.
Yeah.
And so people sculpted, created, did all these different artistic pieces on the theme of Artie Bra, and all of the recognition and exposure, including the dollars that were created from it, went to fight breast cancer with Northern Arizona Healthcare. And we've done a lot with the Verde Valley Sanctuary. We also have collaborated extensively with the Sedona International Film Festival, with also the Sedona Arts Festival, and the Chamber Music Sedona, and Verde Valley Sinfonietta. Chamber Music Sedona has played in my gallery, I would guess 8 to 10 times over the years, even their Bluegrass Festival. So we had the opportunity to bring in young musicians that would come into the gallery and actually perform on a first Friday or an event. And it was so great because there were so many people that didn't even realize that those kinds of arts and cultural events were happening, that they could easily have access to them, both visitors and locals. So we were able to really help grow those entities through that exposure. Those are just some of the examples. There's really been endless ones over the years. Many. We love collaborating. Tony Curtis, the famous actor, was one of my artists. So we brought him to Sedona and collaborated with the Sedona International Film Festival. We showed Some Like It Hot on the big screen and some other things. Robert Osborne curated the Q&A. It was just really exciting. And we did some fundraisers through Tony for both the Arts Festival and the Film Festival. So, it's interesting because people that are a lot of famous people, I've learned, well, let me just say this, creative people are usually creative in a lot of different avenues.
Mhm.
So that's no different than an actor. For example, Tony painted on all the sets of his movies. So many of his paintings were painted on the set of Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe, or because there was a lot of downtime on not waiting for Marilyn to come out and act. But there's another one is Dennis Elliott, who is the original drummer of the rock band Foreigner. His wife bought him a lathe and said, you're going to learn something different besides being just a rock star. And so he became a leading wood artist. He's in the Smithsonian with his work. So we represent him. Or Lee Oskar, who started the band War with Eric Burden, and he wrote Lowrider and Cisco Kid and Why Can't We Be Friends? And he's a wonderful painter. So those are just some fun examples of the different people who would have ever thought that we would meet, first off, and then how we were able to take them and collaborate with them where they could come to Sedona and perform and enhance people's lives, and with their other talents besides painting or sculpting.
Yeah, and so to our viewers, now you have another reason to come to Sedona for, to visit Linda and her galleries and her exhibits. And I really love you really lighting up when you share about all the beautiful work that you're doing. It really looks like you're fun, you're loving your life, and you're making a really big difference to so many people, Linda.
Thank you. It's really a blessing when we're able to collaborate and work in our community and help others. I think, just as a rule of thumb, and I know you know this too, but just to reiterate this, that together we can do so much more. And that's always been my business motto, but it really became that too with philanthropy, that this organization is doing such good work, but if we're together helping them do the good work, so much more gets done. So many more people are affected by it in a positive way, and we're blessed to be a part of that, too, which is really nice. When you're giving, it's a funny thing because the giver is as blessed as the one receiving, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And so what would you say to a woman who has dreams or who has been thinking of maybe painting or sculpting, but she hasn't done it yet? What advice would you give her?
What would I say? I would say, if you haven't done it because it seems overwhelming, you don't know where to start, then this is these 3 words have helped me so much in business and so much in life. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Just take a step back. It doesn't have to be all this and all perfect and this and that. Keep it simple. What's the first step? Okay, do it. What's the second step? Do it. I mean, you can keep it that simple to get it started. The other really strong point I would say is you can do whatever you want, and don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't. I think our society loves to tell people that they can't be successful at things, sadly. And, that is just something that you need to not listen to, and do, look within yourself, because it does start here. And if you're having trouble with that, maybe you need to take a moment and get your own practice going, your own belief system going, your own positive affirmations that you write about being confident and being successful and abundant. Don't focus on the negative, focus on what you want in the positive sense. Don't focus on all the reasons why you can't do it. Look at all the reasons why you can do it. And I think when you get in touch with why you want to do this, the real reason you want to do it. And I mean, it could be to make money, and that's okay. believe me, I've been there. I'm going to do this because this is a way I can make money and support myself and my family. So I'm going to do this. It wasn't my life dream or anything else. But, get in touch with your reason why. Your why is the thing that will drive you. But again, don't get overwhelmed and keep it simple. And surround yourself with good people. That's really important because there's a lot of nice people out there. I would have never been able to do the things that have happened with my business if I hadn't have had really kind people that came forth. And I remember years ago, Joel Gilgoff, who still lives here in Sedona, came to me and said, why don't you do a newsletter? And I was like, I don't even know how to start. And he said, this is how you start. And that newsletter has been huge for us in every way. So, when you're open to receive ideas from people, and follow what works for you. Not all ideas work for you. So, again, and if it becomes such an overwhelming, convoluted thing, please remember these words. Keep it simple.
I love it, Linda. And I want to thank you so much for all your wisdom you shared with us. And you're a real, true inspiration. You started off as a single mom, 17, 18 years old. And look how far you've come and what you've created and the impact. And you're really a shining light, in the community as well as in the world. So yeah, I want to thank you so much for sharing your light with us and our viewers. And is there anything else you would like to say or anything?
Well, if I had any other advice for people, I would say, and it took me a while to learn this lesson. It was a painful lesson for me to learn, but it was really valuable once I learned it. It is work with nice people. Work with nice people and your life will be so much easier. So if you're doing whatever you're doing and you have someone that's just really not being nice and doesn't believe in you and all those things, then feel free to step away from that. And someone, draw in somebody that's really nice. We at Goldenstein, we only work with nice artists and clients.
Great.
We're blessed to have many of them.
Yeah.
And grateful.
And that's beautiful. And you're making the conscious decision because sometimes we have negative self-belief or self-worth, and that attracts to us the people that we don't want to hang out with. But to make the conscious decision, I'm worth it. And I want to be surrounded by nice people, by beautiful, supportive people that believe in me. And that makes such a big difference.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. And so I want to bring this in for landing. Once again, thank you so much, Linda, for sharing with us today. And I learned a lot myself. And so if anybody who is listening right now feels like you have a dream or you want to explore something, this is my passion and my purpose. And I'd love to have a conversation with you, how I can support you to, bring your dreams into this three-dimensional reality and create a life you absolutely love living. Look how Linda shines, we can all shine like this, So thank you again for watching, and thank you, Linda, and all the best and lots of love to everybody. Bye-bye.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye.